extraordinarily busy with the HSL, but David does have another life outside of HSL, unlike me, so it's not always the easiest. But he's back. We're all back, and of course we have Yehuda Koenig, the legend, the Twillory champ, and Shlomo Ross, who's on like a 8-time HSL podcast appearance guy, and we're happy to have them on to finally talk about the HSL Town Appliance Night League that we've been so longfully awaiting. So we're here, we're excited, and David, take it away, and we're live.
First of all, I believe his title is the Twillory King, not the Twillory. What did you call him? The Twillory Legend. It's the
Champ, I said, I think. Legend and
Twillory
then the
Champ.
champ, yeah.
People don't know that we had a celebratory dinner, which I was fortunate to be invited to in Wall Street Grill, and Yehuda called me about an hour before, and he said, "I really should be wearing a crown at this dinner." And I said, "Really? A crown?" I said, "We've done celebration dinners before. Nobody wore a crown." And he said, he said, "I am the Twillory King." So I ran all over Manhattan looking for a crown, and I got one. And now there's an iconic picture of the Twillory King in his crown, and hopefully he can live up to it this year, and it wasn't a one and done. So welcome to the podcast, Yehuda. I'm not going to give him a chance to respond to the accusation. And then we have
We'll call it revisionist history, but okay.
And then we have with us Shlomo Ross, who won the Tier B championship last year in the Sunday League. I think you took an unfortunately early exit with Batitude in the Summer Night League.
Yeah,
from what I
twice.
recall. Twice. Okay, yeah, and you had a very strong team. But this year, Ross's teams are 0 and
We have one win.
Oh, you do have a win.
Yeah, we beat
Who do
Tuvia.
They beat Tuvia
What did
in their first matchup
Yeah.
Sunday morning. In their first matchup
Oh, okay.
Sunday
So you have a
morning.
win on the season. I was feeling so
Yeah.
bad, especially because I understand you played a couple of really competitive games, especially last night, which I want to get into. But also, welcome to the podcast, Shlomo Ross.
Thanks. Yeah. We might not have gotten off to the starts that we wanted, but it's not about how you start.
As Avi Edelman said, nobody takes an L better than Shlomo Ross. You know,
Yeah,
after one of the recent games, you sent Avi the breakdown, and he forwarded it to a chat I was in with somebody else. I don't remember exactly who. And Avi's like, it was just a great breakdown of why you lost. And Avi wrote, "Nobody takes an L better than Shlomo Ross does."
oh yeah, it got me very excited, that message. By the way, Dave, do you check out the merch that Shlomo Ross is wearing? Look what's on his right chest right there, and on his
Oh,
left chest.
qualified protein.
We-
You know, I actually need to bring qualified protein to my office. When I've been doing those videos, drinking the protein powder, it's at home. I don't have it in my office, and then when I get home, it's a balagan. Thursday and Friday, I work from home, so I'm able to do those videos. So I got to bring some to my office.
You
I,
think that's what maybe you should have the games on Thursday or Fridays. You probably play better having the protein shakes. No,
I'm playing for David's team tonight, so I'll bring him some.
there we go. David, we expect big things. I want to hear 3 for 4 with 2 extra base hits.
I think I'm facing Tuvia. Avi, is Tuvia the pitcher for MCS
Yeah,
Julia?
Tuvia pitches.
All right, we'll try. We'll try. So let's get into last night's epic matchup. So you know, Slomowitz was the one who scored the game, right? Ari Slomowitz. So
Yes.
the minute the game ended, he forwarded me the box score, and I said, "Wow, you know, like what a game!" And then I immediately reached out to Shlomo and I said, "Looks like a tough." I said, "Looks like a really great game and tough loss." And like I said, nobody takes an L better. Yeah, we had our chances to score, but we squandered them. Great game, a frustrating night loss. It was nice to be able to play again, you know. So obviously a highly competitive game. Then we analyzed Yehuda Koenig's pitching a little bit, which we'll get into. So Shlomo, why don't you give us the takeaway from what seemed like playoff level intensity just based on reading the box score?
So, yeah, like pretty much everything that I said in those texts, they got off to a quick lead. Zinn hit a bloop to center field that he turned into a double. And then I think he scored on a sac fly, if I remember correctly. And then in the bottom of the first, we had second and third. Unfortunately, I grounded to short to end that inning. We had another inning where someone got thrown out at third, but then we had second and third again with one out, and then a pop up to second and a pop up to, I think, Koenig to end that inning. So we had chances to tie the game, get the lead, and we just didn't hit in those clutch situations. But overall, there was a point in in the top of the seventh, I believe. They had bases loaded, one out, and a stop came through. He got, I don't remember who was up, but line drive to short for the second out, and then got
Zagelbaum
Sagobow.
hit a
Yeah,
line, George. Yeah,
yeah, he on a line, but right at
yeah.
our shortstop, Alex, and then a fly ball to left field that was caught. So it was just a very good. It was a classic. Like if you know the days of Chabad versus Young Israel of Woodmere back in like late 2010s, it was a very similar game where it just ended 1-0. We'd always play 2-1, 1-0 games, and it was very similar to those games.
And Koenig was the pitcher for YIW?
Yeah.
Ah, I see. Is that where you daven?
Is that at me? Shlomo doesn't daven. I mean,
No,
no, yeah. I'm at Young Israel Woodmere, and I daven also at IPM.
okay, got it. So Shlomo, what was it like to hit off of Yehuda Koenig?
I always love hitting off of Yehuda. The first at bat, it's my first at bat since I came back from injury, so it's a tough pitcher to come back against. Second at bat, I worked a very tough walk, and then I tried to jump over the all over that first pitch, and then my last at bat, and hit it right at a center fielder. So
Yeah, so you
it's
got
always
me
great.
excited. You got me excited with that one. That finds a gap. That's a tie game, and the winning runs in second.
Yeah, so last year, in the Young Israel versus Chabad game, we were down 2 runs with the runner on first, or a runner on third, and I hit a ball over the center fielder's head. I stumbled around going around first, so it ended up being a triple. And so in this time coming up, I was like, maybe I could recreate that, but not stumble around first. Unfortunately, it was caught. So
How did you know? How did you know to jump on the first pitch?
usually, I don't want to give Yehuda my inside secrets, but
You
I always
just
feel like,
did.
well, I feel confident in any count, but yeah, I think the first pitch is usually the best pitch you're going to see against Yehuda. So don't get into a situation where you have to face a riser or curveball or anything. Just that first pitch that's straight going into the strike zone, jump all over that.
Yehuda, do you remember the triple slash home run that you gave up in the summer?
I do remember. Shlomo's had his good at bats against me. He grinds out the at bats. He's a good hitter. Yeah, bottom line, I feel like he's gotten better over the years, like significantly better. Powers. It might be those protein shakes. Is he? It's probably that something along those lines because he's
Qualified
powers
protein,
picked up.
baby.
In all seriousness, I think what I found is that, and we talked about this earlier. I I find that the defense has gotten much better, like across the league, where it's hard to score. It's like you ever remember those yes and no books when you guys were Yeah, were you old enough for those yes and no books?
Not me.
You
No.
that where no, what is it? Where you choose your own
You
adventure,
have to,
like that kind of shit?
like you have to fill in the different games in them and use the special pen for it. The point I'm making is because it's an odd reference, but it took 3 hits to score a run there in the game that you play, and that's what it feels like here in HSL softball. Every game we play, it is hard to score. It's just I don't know if it's a combination of the just knowing the hitters better and just being more comfortable, but or I just think it's more competent and better players. I think it's just a lot of good players out there.
I think arguably, look, people are going to argue with me. I'm relatively new to the softball world, but at least in the 10 years I've been part of it, or so, I think we're at what seems like a peak to me in a lot of ways. Even this considering this RSK tournament situation, like as far as I know, there have been tournaments in the past, but this has really blown up this RSK tournament, where it's going into its fourth or fifth year, and interest is as high as ever. I know, I'll get a message from old timers, and they'll be like, "No, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, Gottlieb." Blah blah blah. But I think in a lot of ways, there's like as much first of all, there's a lot of softball going on. Jonas and Lowinger, actually, your new buddy Koenig, he we work on this football tournament together, and he pointed out to me, he just very mathematically said, if you go around like the Jewish tri-state area, whatever you want to call it, he's like, there's a total of like 40 football teams, like total, if you count up every league. He's like, if you count up every softball league, there's like 150 teams. It ranges from 18 to 65, I guess. And there's just a lot of, interest in it. So we seem to be to me, it appears we seem to be at some kind of really pinnacle. I don't know what to say of something.
I'll tell you what I can tell you what I think it is. I think it's technology has shrunk the world where it used to be that you played here and you stayed here. It's much easier to be in contact with people. It's much easier to promote. It's much easier to have crossing lines. I just think people just have easier contact with each other, and there's just these tournaments. Think about it. You would have had to manually call people on a phone, to get these things done. It's funny. I'll tell you something funny. We just looked back at my son's upsharing invitation. It was like looking through his album, and the response on it was to call not a cell phone, to call the house phone, like the RSVP. Like, whoever heard of such a thing now?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was actually thinking about recently. I literally had the question to myself. I was wondering, in the year, especially because people want to make up games and all that, in the year 2003, maybe even later, how was the schedule disseminated? How did you make the schedule known? And then how did you handle makeups? Yeah.
So here's what you did. There was a captain's meeting where they would, get together physically in a building, hand out schedules, and then you didn't have this immaturity where you have to, like today, where you got to send everyone a reminder, send them another reminder, then 2 hours before the game, get your cancellations. You let the captain know if you weren't going to be there. It was assumed you're at every single game. But today, I think there's just more, because it's like even easier to get sports tickets. It's easier to get concert tickets. Back then you used a broker. You had to call Ticketmaster on the phone. Today, and on a whim, somebody could pick up tonight. Now they don't have tickets. Now they can go to the Knicks game tonight, because in 5 seconds they could have Knicks tickets. So I just think people's attention spans are so much shorter. And I'm not going to sit here and wax poetic about it, but it was probably less going on then. I think that's the nature of the world. There's probably a little less going on. So,
but Yehuda, but then there's a rain out. The commissioner calls the captain, and then the captain calls everybody on the team to tell them there's a rain out.
100%. Yep.
Okay, and then the makeup is also a little bit of a pain in the neck to deal with. Well, I guess back then you wouldn't check with your team on a makeup, because I can't imagine you were calling 10 people and saying, oh, does April 29th at 7:45 work? And you get to number 8 on the list, and he's like, oh, I have a wedding,
No, what you would do is the commissioner would give you the date. Like, here's your makeup date, tell your team. And then either you would tell your team, or, at the next game, you would tell them, hey guys, we're making up such and such game on such and such date.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I don't even know how we got into this. I'm not sure. But anyway, back to, Shlomo, what are you going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say we got here because you mentioned about how softball seems a lot more, like it's growing a lot more than it was.
Oh, so Koenig's explanation is there's just a lot of contact, a lot of ways to reach out, and you could easily put together a team made up of guys from Muncie, who you played a few times with, Queens, Five Towns, a Lakewood guy or two. It's cross-fertilization, cross-pollination, if you will.
Before we move on, I actually want to give a big shout-out to Shlomo Ross, also to Blisco, who I'm playing for. The Monday Night League, used to be the Croton League, then the West Hempstead Softball League, now the HSL League. There's a certain amount of sacredness to it, right? Like, going back years and years, that like it's like the elites of the elite. People always joke around. Last night, a couple of certain kids are at the league, and I'm like, oh, this is the best softball you'll find. Like, nah, YMSL is much better. I go back and forth. Anyways, but in all seriousness, Monday night is known to be the top of the top. So, this season when we had, one team leaving because of politics and another team leaving because of politics and one new team starting, and we were down to 4 teams. I'm like, oh no, 4 teams, bad luck. And then I had Shlomo Ross and Tovia both reach out to me telling me they want to bring a team. There's a certain amount, level of risk there, because if a team joins tier 2 and they're a joke, Like, okay, you know for the future that like it's stupid. But like tier one is like a little, it's like sacred that if you bring a team in that's gonna lose 15-0 every time in a Monday night tier one league, it's a very, very bad look. So I want to, give a quick, man, we're only 2 weeks in, but like just seeing Shlomo's team and Tovia's team perform in the first 2 weeks, not only could they like compete, I think they're legitimately up there, and I think they could win on any given night. And I'm not saying are as much favorites as the teams that's been there forever, but I think they could win a championship. Like right now, how they are built,
I mean,
and
no reason
we're very
not.
lucky.
It goes back, Avi, to what we were saying, that I really just, I think, and I'm going to champion this point, forever. This idea of A player, B player, David and I have talked about this. I can't stand it. There's so many guys who play in the Wednesday league that are fantastic ball players. And it's almost like there's like an aura about the Monday Night League, and it is a great league. But there's no reason it can't grow. There's no reason next year you can't bring two more teams to it. So what? So a team will come in and not do as well in the beginning, but if they have determination, they'll get better. I could tell you my early years, we got smoked as young kids, in our teens and 20s by the older teams. And then we did quite well. And that if you want it enough and you have enough talent that could get better, there's no reason that they can't move up.
So let's go back a minute. Shlomo, Koenig mentioned a minute ago that you evolved as a hitter, and you've also, I don't know about the Shul League, what tier it is, whatever you want to call it, but you're really on this journey very clearly to me now. As long as I know you, I think you've been in the tier B, and now you're in two different tier A leagues, captaining. Well, you're co-captain kind of in the night league, but we know you're the real. You're really wearing the pants over there. No, I'm kidding.
I'll give it. It's more Benji and Morty, but
yeah, okay. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I was just joking. But so you've evolved, and I'm curious to hear more about that journey.
I think so. Most of the guys or a lot of the guys that play on the team, whether it's Sunday morning or at night, we've played tier one in the Shul League. So playing in the B League was just like, I started off with the Hippos because those were my high school friends, and then that team evolved. But it was just in order a way to play with my high school friends, and that's when I fell out of the A League. Back in the day when it was the Croton League, I was on the team with my brother Zach Hatton, Adam Hoffman, Shuey Hoffman. Like we had a really solid team there.
Was it tier one team or there was one tier?
I think there was one tier.
Was that the Hitmen? Was it the Hitmen?
We played against the Hitmen. We were the Rebels.
The Rebels. Okay, I'm trying to throw out these old names that are in my head.
We only had one season, and we lost to the Lobos in the playoffs. A whole disaster. But yeah, so and then I played for the Bombers for a bunch of years, Sunday mornings. So
you played for the Bombers for a bunch of years? What years was that?
Probably like 2017 through 2019.
Oh, so I probably lost a few games to you in my time.
Potentially.
Are you still in the
Bombers? Games to everybody, David.
Shlomo, are you still in the Bombers team chat?
No, I don't think I ever made it into the team chat. My brother would contact me and say, hey, this is where the game is this week. I'd be like, okay, cool, I'm there. My first ever inning with the Bombers, Yehuda was on the mound, and it was the spring. It was the first game of the season. As my brother does.
Back then, the season probably started in the middle of May based on the complaints we got for starting in
I'm
March.
pretty sure it was still March. Very cold morning. And as my brother has some minhag to do, we got to the game 30 seconds after it was supposed to start. And everybody on the Bombers turned to me and said, where do you play? I said, put me in the infield. And so they put me at third, and the first two plays went to me. I didn't warm up at all. I threw the ball away. We lost by 1 run. At the championship dinner that year, Yehuda kept bringing that up, letting me know that
really?
Yeah. But wow. I deserved it. I made a couple errors. And
was this the game? Was this the game? It was like in one of the Great Neck Fields.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember that. I actually remember that game. That was terrible.
But you get better by playing against better competition. So even with just going back to your original question, going from the B League to the A League, or tier 1, tier 2, you're going to get better by playing against better competition. If you're always facing off against the guys at the bottom of tier 2, you're not going to become a better softball player. And if that's your goal, to become a better softball player, then you have to move up, and sometimes that means taking your losses. Sometimes they're bad losses, but you'll get better that way.
He's
I
right.
like I love it. So now just I have two things to get to. One is this is like really fascinating information that you were on the Bombers, and also that they never invited you into the chat, which essentially means that you have I would think you have a bone to pick with Steve and Koenig, and
Oh,
um,
whoa,
N-
whoa, whoa,
not
whoa! I'm
not so
I'm I'm
much.
I'm an also ran on that team.
I I've been playing against or with both of them since I was in my very early teenage years. So,
wow.
um,
So
yeah, no bone to pick.
so okay, so a couple more things. Okay, let's go to this first. So it's interesting, with that group, Koenig, Steve, some of these guys you've been playing with for so many years, this weird dynamic where guys are teammates. I think what's interesting about this group is that they're teammates in one league, mortal enemies in another league. What makes it so interesting is that it seems like these games are life and death, like existential, like end times. Every game is like a biblical moment of epic proportions. It feels like so. You're playing with them in one league, and then you're against them the next day. It's just a really interesting phenomenon to me, which I don't know exactly where else it exists. That you have like the Sunday morning tier one. Like I'll give you an example, like Koenig and Steve on Sundays, and then you go to Monday nights, and they're competitors. You have Adam and Shuey often play with Steve on
Not
the night
anymore.
week,
Oh,
and not
yep, yep,
anymore.
right,
And
right, right,
Nice,
right.
there's just a
nice.
lot of interesting, relationships there.
And Steve only is on the Lobos recently. That was a big deal because
Steve Yehuda probably got a call.
Yeah, he did. We'll give him a second. You're back. Go ahead.
with a bunch of different guys, and yeah, he was
Yeah,
playing
go.
with a whole different group, and he had his own team with Eric Zimmerman. And when his team kind of dissipated, he joined up with the Lobos. That was an eye opener.
Who was the?
I would never have let that happen if we were running the league then.
Well, you would have made him bring a new team. You mean?
Yeah, figure it out. Figure it out.
Who's the? Wow, Avi's a real strong commissioner,
Yeah.
like Adam Silver. I don't know. um, who was the pitcher on the Lobos before Steve?
So they had Neil Ostroff
Oh,
pitched.
I've
Yep.
seen him. Yeah, I've
Dom
seen him.
always talks about Neil, Dave. Dom
Neil,
always
yeah,
talks about him.
and then they had before they also had Yossi Eisenberger before him, and then after Victor Cusp has the last few years also pitched on that team.
So it was a chiddush when they added Steve. Essentially,
I
is what
thought
you're telling me.
so. I thought that was a big deal. Yeah.
Who was the lead? Who was the leadership on that team?
On which one?
The Lobos.
The Lobos has been it moved over. Originally it was Yossi Eisenberger and David Brescher. When they stopped playing, it's really the current now. I feel like Sach picked it up, and he's really run with it. I think he's done a very good job. Um, I think
So it was
he's really
Suck
a
who added Steve. So it was Suck who added Steve.
yes, yeah, he's really evolved, and they always have a competitive team. I mean, I feel like they're like the Yankees. They get everybody, you know.
Now they're doing a
So
better job bringing younger talent. They're really doing it, especially this year with the big.
well, I don't want
Yes.
to take. I want to take credit with an assist from Avi. On bringing Solly Esses to that team.
Solly the kid.
Solly the kid. I wake up. I don't remember what day of the week it was, but my kids get up early. I got into bed to take a nap for an hour or two or three or four, depending on the day. No, I'm kidding. I can't sleep for more than an hour or two. I wake up to a message from Steve. Hey, can you help me get those kids that played with you in the Twillory tournament, JoJo and Solly? So, I was on a conference call, me, Avi, and Solly, 4 minutes later, and we worked him, and then Sach and Steve started selling him on it, and then eventually they closed the deal, which me and Avi were very happy about because he's really talented and a great guy. Jojo's more busy. I don't know. He's in Israel. I don't know what
Who's
Jojo's.
so how old is Solly?
Probably about 21, Avi. How
Oh
Yeah.
my God!
Sully the Kid,
Wow.
21 years old. You should see. I mean, you'll see on my WhatsApp stats when I do the highlights. He had a shot off Daniel Ash that most
I
guys don't.
saw.
Oh, you
I
did see
saw
it. Oh,
that.
you were
Yeah.
there. Uh, yeah,
I
he's
saw. No, I
Oh,
saw
I
your
put it on the
video.
community. I put it on
Yeah.
the yeah. He not a lot of guys could go oppo with that power off Ash, and he actually
Yeah.
called
That
him
was
and said
not
he
an
was doing.
accident.
No,
That was a rip.
that was a quick. He's got quick. He's got quick. What they call quick wrists. He turned that one over
Yeah.
very very fast. That was a very quick swing.
So next question, then I want to move on to some other teams and some other games from last night. Shlomo and Yehuda, what did you think of Asaf last night against? It's interesting. Koenig, your team has scored a total of 1 run
In 2 games.
in
We're
2
killing it.
games.
We're,
You're
we're
killing
killing
it.
it.
So I mean, I look at the names in the lineup though. I mean, these are, legit players. So you got to give credit to. We'll get to Avi in a minute, but I guess Asaf pitched a real good game.
Asaf is excellent. Asaf's a great player. He's a perfect example of a guy who, plays in the B. I know he likes to play with his friends and his buddies, but in terms of ability, he's fantastic. He could hit, he could pitch. He's a good defender also when he's out there, but fields his position well. I mean, he had a beautiful catch of a line drive that killed the rally and doubled off a guy off first. I mean, he
Aha.
really again, so as much as we had traffic on the bases last night. I felt like we didn't get the big hit, and I
Aha.
thought I did think, and Shlomo could disagree, but I thought other than me being a little erratic with the strike zone early on, I thought we were in pretty good control. I thought we outplayed them a little bit. Not a ton. It was a 1-0 game, but I thought while they had their chances, the closest they really had with less than 2 outs of scoring was, I believe it was the fifth or sixth inning. They had a man on third, and then we got a pop up on the infield and a pop up to me, as Shlomo said earlier. But we had men on the bases with less than 2 outs 2 or 3 times, and just could not get the big hit. So I think twice we hit into double plays,
Yeah,
Shlomo,
Who hit
right?
into the double
twice.
plays? Who hit into the double plays?
Well, again, this is why you don't put, just like we don't give Aliyahs the brothers or all that. Zagelbaums were batting back to back, and Avrami, I believe, hit a line drive single, and then his brother hit a bullet up the middle that Asaf snared and doubled up, and then another play was where they were shielding. We had a lefty up. It might have been Menachem Nyman. He
Yeah,
Great
hit a
hitter.
bullet up the middle, right at the guy standing on second base, and he just stepped on the bag and threw to first for a double play.
yep.
So they were as I said earlier, the defense in the league is just stellar. I mean,
So what do you attribute that to? What do you attribute the increased defense to?
I think there's a lot of good players out there, and I think
More
there's an
than when you
abundance of
were more
talent.
than the blue and white league?
100% there's more good players. I won't
Wow.
tell you that the top of the league, and I might catch some flack for this, but I don't remember playing where every single game is like this, where you score 3 or 4. I used to always say to my team, "Get me 4, and we'll win every single game." Now it's like we scored in the first inning, and it's like, "There's your run, make it stand up."
So, Shlomo, what do you have to say about Asaf?
Yeah, Asaf's been great. He had the first game was against the Lobos, which is a very tough team. We gave them way too many outs. That was more of a classic, where it's not. I think the wind and the cold played a big part in that game. But there was just we gave them way too many outs. They took advantage of it. Scored 6 runs on us, but it wasn't because of Asaf. Asaf kept us in that game, and this game playing right behind him, he pitched fantastic. And I think that he's a legitimate A-League pitcher. Throws the ball hard. During the last week game when I wasn't playing, while Benji was getting his gear on, I was behind the plate warming him up, and the ball was coming in a lot quicker than I was expecting it to. So he has speed on his fastball, and he moves the ball around in the zone. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing behind him the rest of this season.
So, the game you beat Tuvi in was the Sunday League or the Night League?
Yes, Sunday.
Sunday League. Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
So, what's your record now in the Night League?
I think we're 0-2.
0-2. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Yehuda. game one, you guys lost to Avi Edelman and Gordon Companies, and Tuvia is the captain, right? And I wrote, Avi gave up 5 hits, I think, over 7, scattered 5 hits over 7 innings, as they say. Did he walk anybody?
I never walk people.
He sent his stats to Dom, and Dom's like, "I'm sorry, is this Ariel Cohen or Avi Edelman?"
Wow. But well said.
Well said by Dom. So I wrote in, and then Avi took a bases loaded walk.
Yeah.
That was an unbelievable sequence of pitches. Also, I could have easily struck out twice, and I never strike out. Like I only struck out 5 times in my life. One of which came against Yehuda Koenig, maybe 4 times. I'm not sure. Pollen Koenig.
Sit here for 5 minutes. It'll be 2. I mean,
Pollen Koenig, C. Klein, who was in my high school class in 9th grade in a pickup game, and maybe one more.
In a pickup.
Yeah, 9th grade in Travis Israel, Murray Park. But that at bat was Wong. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry, it was unbelievable.
Well, we can walk through the sequence in a minute. So I wrote in the chat, Yehuda Koenig, I heard Avi Edelman had his way with you last night, and you said that's a little bit strong. Had his way with. So I have a list here of words that maybe can better describe what Edelman did to you, giving up 5 hits over 7 innings and scoring the game, walking in the game-winning RBI. Instead of had his way with, would you say took control of you, overpowered you, dominated you, subdued you, imposed his will on, bent to his will, took advantage of, exploited, used, manipulated, walked all over, violated, assaulted, or forced himself on? Do any of those? Do you think any of those words more accurately capture what happened 2 Monday nights ago, Monday, April 21st?
I feel like we could stay with, I guess, had his way with.
Thank you, Chat.
Listen,
Thank you, ChatGPT.
I was gonna say this sounds like ChatGPT, which I know nothing about, but I think Avi's a tremendous player. I think Avi, people like say in jest, but Avi's as good as anybody out there, and he does what a lot of people can't do. He's very patient as a hitter, and he fouled off 2 or 3 pitches that were just, I thought, pretty good pitches. And
that was when it was a full count. That was a full count, or
it was he battled back.
I fouled off 2. I fouled off 2 at a full count.
Oh, you battled back from 1-2. So Avi, why don't you walk us through the at bat?
Yehuda got so again, just to and I actually messaged someone privately, and I want to say that if I'm going to be pitching again throughout the league, I'll be very vulnerable for a second. I have a knack, which is true. I get very intense on the mound when I'm pitching. I get very intense to the extent when there are people who make boneheaded plays and they don't own up to it, I'll get very upset. So what I've been trying to do as of recent, which unfortunately right now I don't have a middle ground right now. So I've been trying to really take the opposite approach, which actually works for me very well, in which is not being necessarily a goofball. Like I take it very seriously, but I'm just constantly talking and sort of joking around to my teammates. It helps me keep very, very relaxed on the mound. So I sort of take the same approach at the plate. Either one way or the other. I sort of can't. The reason why I haven't really hit as well as I always used to hit. I used to be a phenomenal hitter. I'm still very good, but I used to be. It's because I get so when I'm pitching, I'm so serious and locked in and nervous. I almost hitting's almost like a total secondary. That's why in the Cares tournament I was able to hit so well. I was barely pitched. Diamond team pitched the whole thing. Anyway, so I was the whole night I was very chill. I was very relaxed. Yehuda was saying before the podcast I was, talking back to them when they were chirping me in the dugout. As I was pitching, I was responding to them. So the same thing on the mound. I get up to the plate, it's bases loaded. I shout to Abitan. I'm like, I have a 467 average with the bases loaded. Meanwhile, it's bases loaded 2 out in the 5th inning, the biggest spot of the game. Yehuda gets out of the count 0-2 right away. He throws a gorgeous pitch on the inside corner for a strike. I then get a good pitch that I actually could hit on the outside corner. I line it over the first base line, foul by a few feet. Then Yehuda throws 2 pitches in a row, both that were absolutely phenomenal. One moved up and in, one moved down and away. Both are very close. The second one I actually did a check swing on. The second one specifically might have been a strike. It was very, very borderline. It went to 2-2. The third pitch missed by a lot. 3-2.
I went like this, by the way. I did one of those, yeah.
The next pitch missed by a lot. Went to 3-2, and then I remember saying, "All right, it's my second 8-pitch at bat of the game." I then go on to foul off another pitch on 3-2, and then 3-2 he walked me to bring the. By the way, the other 8-pitch at bat actually singled to center field, and I got thrown out at first base. So. I went through
it was right field, but yes.
Right center field. I got two 9-pitch at bats, and one I walked and one I got thrown out at first from the outfield. So it was it was an amazing at bat. And like I said, as a hitter, I take away all my power on purpose to an extent. I could, if I want, change my stance.
Is there anything you haven't accomplished on a softball field?
Yeah, I've never hit a home run.
Oh.
No, I
Wow.
without like I hit a home run without a goal ball in the OHL tournament. My last season playing with Orieller and the boys in the quarterfinals, I actually threw a home run to right center. I jacked one to the gap, but I very rarely hit home runs. Like even that Sunday morning, remember that game against the Blue Wahoos, Dave, 5 years ago,
Yeah,
not that big
triple. It was a
fight.
triple, right?
I had a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
bomb throw with a triple. I never hit a home run in like a league game because I bat. My feet are very close to each other, like literally 3 feet away. My hands are separate from each other, which is totally not what you're supposed to be doing as a hitter. But I thank God I have just precise control with my bat and good patience. I'm able to really poke the ball wherever it is that I really need to for most times, which allows me to get into deep accounts because I could just poke it foul. Most tough pitches I could just foul off. So it was awesome. It was great. It was an awesome. I had an awesome time. They were great at bats and it was an amazing game. And I'm gonna say it, Toby Blisco's team. I wish they would have won last night. They should have won the game. They're 1 out
Okay, so I
away.
wanna I wanna get into that, and then we'll get into the power rankings, and then we'll let Yehuda go because he made $1 million deal today, and now he's got to go celebrate. All before noon. Just so people don't know, I messaged Yehuda last night. I was talking to Shlomo last night, and then I was like, Shlomo was talking about Yehuda, which we didn't, Yehuda's evolution as a pitcher. And I said, this would be a great podcast. So I message everybody, and Yehuda says, "Oh, I got to be in Manhattan in the morning." So I call Yehuda around noon to check in. He's like, "Oh, I'm already back in 5 towns." I'm like, "You made it to Manhattan and back already?" I'm like, "And you also cut a milli, as they say in the trade. He cut a milli." So last night, Avi, your team, and I'm very curious about this. Sandy Berger is another new tier 1 pitcher.
Yeah.
Hasn't pitched that much at tier 2. I think
Tier
I don't
1, yeah.
know because really he played on the Tigers, and I think Yitzchak Weiss is the main pitcher. So he pitched on my Sunday team last season. And he's pitching this season too. He's barely pitching though because he has to keep his arm fresh for Monday night. So Nachum Mintz has been pitching for us really well, actually. So Sendy, new to tier 1. What happened in the 7th inning last night? I don't know if Shlomo, you were there. I know Yehuda and Avi were there. Was he not able to close? Actually, let's get Yehuda's take because he's got a lot more experience than Avi. What was your take on Sendy? Was he, was the moment too big for him? His first start in the Haliga tier 1.
I don't think so. I think that there is a process of learning how to win, and I don't mean that in a condescending way at all. I think you watch teams that are very good, and they just, unfortunately, the beginning, like the result is not what they want, and when they stick to it, they learn how to close a game. And I don't think it was an inability. I just think they're playing a very tough team. I would take my hat off to them that they kept a really good team. Glenn's team, right? They held them to almost nothing the whole
They're up
game.
2-0 in the bottom 5th with 2
Yeah, I
outs.
mean, they really did a good job. I mean, I thought that game when I saw the two teams, I thought that was going to be like a 5-3 game, 6-4. I was very surprised when I got there and it was scoreless, like in the 4th inning. Um, but I go back to again. I can't say it enough. The defense in the league is just outstanding. I think that he got a little snake bit. If I think Avi has the video of it. There was a base hit to left field. Yes, there's a walk in the middle, but it wasn't a terrible walk.
Snake bit by what? Snake bit by what? What did you
A
say?
ground ball that found the hole. I mean, again,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, that was the
That,
dive. Somebody dove for
yeah,
it.
yeah.
that was what gave them the lead. Yeah.
Wait, that looked like a clean hit to me.
No,
Again,
it was
but
good. Yeah, go ahead.
it could just as easily have been hit at somebody, and
I
then it's an
see. I
out.
see.
So
I see what you're saying. Who
ball
was the
found.
shortstop there that dove for that? Who was that?
Run they scored was I thought
That was
no,
blue.
I don't know if
Wait,
it was off
who's
an
their
error. That was
shortstop? Jakey Goldenberg.
Oh, Jake.
yeah.
No, Jake's in the outfield. Who was their
I
shortstop?
feel like there was a misplay out
Was it
there.
Jake Lichtman? Was Jake Lichtman playing short again for them? Jake played a phenomenal short when I pitched. Jake was definitely playing. Maybe it was Jake Lichtman at short.
It's like one misplay, but I mean, you're talking about. We're not talking about that. It was like an 8-6 game. I mean, I think it ended up 4-2.
So what
I
about the
mean,
process of knowing how to win? Walk me
so
through that. Going.
you get to these last 3 outs, and we'll go back to like even our game where we have a 1-0 lead. It's bearing down. It's not the mentality has to be that not oh my god, it's the 7th inning. It's just like any other inning. You have to go out and play just like any other inning. You can't start worrying about what happens if this guy gets on or that guy gets on. It's understanding where to play your defense, and I think that's a maturation process. Shlomo before his at bat. I don't know if it's on video, but I moved the outfielders back about 2 steps right before. A part of it is I faced Shlomo a bunch of times. I know he can hit, but you might say, "Oh, the ball's not carrying," but there's an understanding of don't give up an extra base hit now. Okay, have it drop in front of you. It's nobody on base, so it's a process that comes into the game. And when you get more comfortable with it in the late innings, Avi used the term before. He gets nervous. He doesn't really get nervous. He makes himself nervous. He shouldn't be nervous. He's been in these situations so many times. So it's getting, breathing and just play the inning like you played any other inning.
Yeah, I would say I would say the pretty actually a pretty well pitched inning. Even that hit that gave him the lead, it was by his ankle, so it wasn't there
It's a
was
good
no
pitch.
there was an open base. The only thing I would say about that inning is you can't walk someone with the runner on first one out, and you can't walk the tying run on the base. That's the only thing I'll say about that inning. Stendy obviously, I don't think he walked anyone all game, and maybe one when I wasn't there, but that's the only thing I would say about that.
Wait, he
Other than
walked
that,
somebody. It was one out, nobody on.
Runner on first, one out. And he
Run on
walked the
first,
tying
yeah.
run onto the.
So
He
that
walked
was
the-
your snake bite.
he
You
walked
hooted that runner getting to first.
He walked
You
the
think it was a
go ahead
little
run onto base. The go ahead run onto base. Yeah.
Who took the walk?
It's a great question. Actually, I was trying to remember, and I couldn't. I downloaded the Game Changer app, so I'm gonna check right now.
And then
by the way,
somebody
to be
moved the
fair,
run. Yeah.
to be fair, I heard the comment being made when it was second and third. There was an open base, as Avi just said, that they should have considered walking that guy to set up the double play. Again, that's not a bad idea. You set up a force at every base. The go-ahead run is already on second base.
Yeah.
It's not the worst idea.
No.
I heard it mentioned, and I was like, it's a pretty good thought.
Who was on
I'm
deck?
not saying-
Who was on deck?
So I'll tell you, Izzo Zvirin grounded out. Yitzi Miller then hit a vintage bloop over first. Perfectly
Yes.
placed ball.
Yep.
Shiro Zelimsky walks. By the way, Shiro was tearing it up. Was tearing it up all
Great
night.
hitter.
He also made a play last night.
Oh yeah,
You do not
forgot
see.
about that.
You don't see that very
I was talking
often.
to Dom. I was distracted. Shiro went over the dugout fence with his arm, like you're robbing a home run, like full extension over and made the
Wow.
catch. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So he climbed He climbed.
Yeah. He climbed.
Unbelievable play.
So
Unbelievable.
Shai walks, 2 on 1 out. Chesky Itzkwitz grounds out to second. Another smart play by Shai. Shai was running to second.
Yes, that could have been the game.
Shai froze, and Chesky then turned around. And what Chesky should have done is actually charge
Step on
Shai
second.
and
Or step
tagged
on
him,
second.
But he threw to first to get the out, and that
Chesky,
allows
who hit? I thought you said Chesky hit the ball.
Chesky hits a
He
ground
did.
ball to Chesky hits a ground ball to second, and
Who's
first
the
and
second
second,
baseman?
1 out.
Who's the second baseman? But you said Chesky.
yeah,
I got
oh,
it now.
sorry.
He should have thrown to second. Instead, he got spooked and threw to first.
Yes, and then Shai first of all stopped the double play by freezing, and second of all got the second within 2 outs, and then the
And he's the go-ahead run. So again, that's what I mean by maturation. You have to know in that moment, I'm not going to get the double play because he's stopping. Okay, let me take the out at second because he's conceding it, and then go first and third. So at least my go-ahead run is on first, and not second.
Then
So who's the second baseman? Can you figure it out?
Yeah, I can figure it out. Oh, Zalman Pollock,
Okay.
who by the way played a great second base all night.
Very
A couple
good.
of players.
Very good play. Yeah.
Great player. Shlomo, you have any thoughts on this before we get to the power ranking? I feel like we were chattering away while you were just taking it all in.
Yeah, I wasn't there for it, so I wouldn't have any insight into what happened.
Shlomo, you would have enjoyed it. It was a very, very good ending to a game. It really was.
Yeah. After I saw it on the community, I was like, okay, I should have stayed because what else am I gonna do? But next time I'll know to stay for the game.
That's
All right. So Avi, let's get to the power rankings and then go on our way.
All right.
This is only tier 1, not tier 2, right? Because
We're gonna go tier 1. We'll hopefully have a separate power ranking with tier 2. We didn't forget about you guys. We love tier 2 just like we love tier 1. We have 11 teams. I already have 3 teams that reached out about bringing a team in the summer, so hopefully we don't run out of fields. Because apparently nobody. Thank you, Huda. Apparently nobody likes playing on Tuesdays. Apparently it's unheard of to have to play on a Tuesday. So.
Are you being serious?
I'm being 100% serious. I've
For
got
so many people
complaints.
that play Sunday, I'd rather play Tuesday.
I asked that to somebody else, Koenig. I don't understand the Monday night, why it's on Monday nights.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
We'll bring it up next year at the meeting. Shlomo and I, by the way, have battled a bunch because we've both been Shuli captains. We've had our share of like 2 lawyers in a courtroom battling it out.
Yeah.
The game that got rained out after we tied up the game. whether it was a win or a loss. That's the classic
How many
one.
innings? How many innings was it when it rained out?
I think it was if we just finished or we finished the top of the fifth. So we tied in the top of the fifth, but they never batted in the bottom of the fifth. So it turned into a whole thing.
But isn't the rule 4.5?
I don't remember, but because we tied it after it was already an official game, but it wasn't. They didn't have a chance to bat in the bottom of the inning.
It's a suspended game.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a suspended game.
Yeah. The Indiana State girls softball rule book was posted in the chat at one point. It was just everybody was posting their own rule books to see who would come out as
when we were little kids. It would be you cut off the inning. You don't cut off innings.
Yeah.
If they tie it up, it's a suspended game, and you continue it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the power rankings here. Tier 1 power rankings. I'm getting into my shuckle, which means the brain is starting to rumble and trek. And I'm actually gonna be a little bit of a surprise coming in at number 6. I already hear the murmurs in the background, not from this man, because this man probably doesn't care about softball, only golf, and ice hockey a little bit. I'm actually gonna have Omnon's Kosher Pizza at 6, and I'll tell you why.
What the hell? You're a moron. They won 2 championships in a row. How do you put them in 6th?
I'll explain. Omnon's Kosher Pizza, and let me hear me out, and it might not be as dumb. Omnon's Kosher Pizza lost 2 valuable pieces before the season. Avi and Adam Bromberg. Omnon's Kosher Pizza has Noah Aaron, who is only 50% committed to Omnon's. Matt Rosenberg, who not only is only 50% committed to Omnon's, he vacated the outfield with bases loaded, 2 outs, down by 2 runs in the 6th inning to go to basketball. And Daniel Ash has walked the house 2 games in a row. So they're 0-2. I know Mo Feintuch is joining them in June. But from what I've seen so far, with the commitment issues and the walks and the sloppiness and losing Izzo and Nenner and Bromberg, I don't know. They just don't look like the same intimidating Omnons that when I played in the last 4 years. Now that I'm not playing, maybe it's because I'm not pitching anymore against them. But I just don't feel the Omnons Kosher Pizza vibes. It looks like it's really not there. They're missing a lot of guys, like I said, and just 2 of their best players are basketball first for the first 3 months of the season. So it's just the vibes I'm getting.
But 1 second, Avi. Just to what? How many?
Benji's out. Benji Horowitz is out for 2 months. Like their whole team is,
4 out of 6 make it. 4 out of 6 make it to the playoffs, or 5 out of 6.
It's gonna be 4 versus 5 in a play-in.
So you think they're gonna be the 6th seed?
I'm putting them 6 in the power rankings right now. They're 0-2.
Okay.
What's the thinking of the 4 versus 5 versus just having top 4? Just out of curiosity.
It adds an extra game, makes things a little bit more intense. It keeps the 5-6 battle, a battle for the bottom up there, and it also gives a big incentive to get into the top 3. 2 reasons. It keeps it interesting between 4 and with the 5 and 6, and also gives the 3 seed a very big.
You mean otherwise there's no real difference between 1 and 4?
Yeah, it's always been 1 and 4. Like and also in the A League, everyone could beat each other. So like, one
that's
could
what I'm saying. So there's no real difference between 1 and 4, right? Now you have to win an extra game, right?
Correct. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. I actually think it's actually pretty obvious, in my opinion.
Your logic is fair, but I think I've seen you do this in multiple power rankings multiple power rankings across different leagues. You don't give enough respect to defending champions. I've seen. I think your logic is good, but the heart of a champion is the heart of a champion.
They're like the Nationals. After the Nationals won the World Series and lost their one the next year and didn't make the playoffs, and had like 50 or 60 wins. I think it was the Nationals, right?
You're too young to remember the Marlins of 2003.
No, I know they beat the Yankees in the World Series.
Well, those were fire sale teams. Let's be fair about that.
Yeah.
Coming in at number
the Nationals. The Nationals were not.
No.
Okay.
Coming in at number 5, and again, the only reason why I have them number 5 is because I think there's just nowhere else to put them, is Shlomo Ross's Holy Schnitzel. Again, they're new to Tier 1.
Benji Ashkenazi and Morty Kirsch's Holy Schnitzel.
Well, Shlomo's on the podcast.
Shlomo's assistant.
My EYG catcher in the MSL, Benji Ashkenazi's Holy Schnitzel. They're new to Tier 1. Again, I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I think they'll be very competitive in every game. I think they have a shot at winning the championship the same way everyone else has a shot. But they're new. Asaf's a great pitcher. I think they're going to have a lot of trouble adjusting, especially when they're, continuing to face the top pitchers in the league. I think they'll have a lot of trouble getting more than that 1 to 2 to 3 runs a game. I think it'll take a while. Not that many teams do get more than 3 runs a game, but I think they're going to have to play perfect in order to win. Not be competitive. I think they'll be competitive consistently, but in order to ultimately win, I think they'll have to play almost perfect until they really adjust to that hitting. And for that reason, I put the Holy Schnitzel at number 5.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, not
go
to
ahead. Go
totally
ahead. Yeah,
interrupt you, but I don't I don't have an issue with you putting us at number 5. We came from the B League. We have to prove ourselves in the A League, especially with no wins right now. However, I think that
I love the
uh,
howevers. Yeah, go ahead.
to adjusting the adjustment periods in the beginning of the season, we are only going to get better against the A League pitchers as the season goes on. So I think in the beginning of the season, we're going to struggle to score runs. We will get there, and then at that point, the league has to watch out.
I think that makes sense, by the way. I think it's to prove it and move up. I think that makes a lot of sense. Again, I think 3 and 4 also is an extremely very close. I think 1 through 4 is a flick of a finger. To be honest, people might not agree with me, might get upset at me, but I think just out of respect, I know you're saying almost kosher pizza back to back champs. Out of respect, I think I'll have to do it in this order. I think 3 and 4 could have gone anyway. I will give the edge at number 3 to Essex, so I'll put my team all bank at 4. I said multiple times, and I actually meant it. I think Allbank could easily, and I really mean easily, beat Gordon Companies or the Lobos or Koenig's or Menachem Lyman's Essex any night. Um, Senny's a very good pitcher. Again, also a little bit new to the Tier 1 space. Tobia's in a similar situation, in which a lot of his hitters are also very much new to Tier 1. I think they're phenomenal in the infield. People are forgetting Josh Goldenberg's on his team and will qualify. Jakey's a stud in the outfield. They have this other kid, another Ariel Cone prodigy at third base. Tall kid, bushy hair. I forgot his name. Stud at the plate. Like he hits rockets every time. Phenomenal third baseman. They have a great team. Menachem Greenberg's a vet. Again, just because of the
Who's their second baseman? The light blonde hair.
that's Zalman Pollock.
Oh, fantastic hitter.
Yeah, he also hit really well. Jason Schlessel at first base. Maybe that
It's a good team.
very
Yeah,
good
very
team.
good team.
Again, just out of and the reason why I put them at 4 and not 3 is because you have the vet Yehuda Koenig going for Essex NYC, who does one championship many times before. He knows how to win. He knows when to win. He knows where to win. And he's backed by my former core guys again who have won in the league: Moshe Zinn, Hillel Rokach, Erloch, and Rudansky. Like these guys know what it takes to win. They played Tier 1 ball now for 5 years. Menachem Nyman's a stud. Also, unbelievable on the field. When you have a Koenig on the mound, with an unbelievable field behind you, you're going to be extremely competitive. And, they, for now, will come in at 3. And like I said, again, I think 3 and 4, I think every game will be decided between 1 and 2 runs. Assuming there's no, 5 backups in the game where there's 7 errors. I just think it's that close. That's my 5 through 3. Before I get into 1 and 2, which is probably the most controversial out of all of them, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts.
Listen, it's a show me league. We have no, I'm surprised you even put us as high as 3. We lost to to the other team, to your team. I think it can go either way, and I don't think you'll get flack for your 1 and 2. And they're both top teams. I mean, it's not crazy at all.
At number 2, I'm going to put the Sheriff and Gordon Companies at number 2. They have a great team. Jonas Lowinger is, of course, not only a great player, but also awesome at just bringing in talent. And they're going to get as many of these 17-year-old studs qualified as possible with Jonas on that team. Of course, you got legends like Bloom and Glenn and their first baseman. I always forget his name. Very scary guy, but apparently very nice off the field with a tremendous amount of pop. He's a lefty. I forget his name. But they have, as younger and you see Miller, they have a very good team. Izzo is the new catcher. I think they're dangerous. I think, again, they're as good as anybody. However, at number 1, I'm going to have to go with my boys, Adam Shuyoffman, who run the team, Sal Felberg, who helped recruiting with the team, the Lobos. And I'll tell you why. The Lobos have always been great. The one thing that's been holding them back every single year has been young talent. And I think finally they're actually taking it, seriously. Let's run through the Lobos roster quickly. Solely the kid Esses. We all know he's a stud. Yakov Sabo, one of the most underrated players in the league. Yakov was phenomenal back in the day. He got married, had 3 kids, all within 4 or 5 years, had shoulder issues. The guy was forgotten about. You see him play last night. Yakov made these crazy plays at second base. He made this play deep in the hole where he spun around, made a crazy throw, had 2 or 3 hits, hit the ball hard every time. Phenomenal player. Yitzchak Light is awesome. Another young stud. Had to, where'd it go? Tzvi Shomer, I think, is on the roster also. Scheinbein is a great player. And then you have the legends. You have Archie and Adam and Shuey. And it's just a never-ending lineup, a mix of studs, of professionals, of boppers, of unbelievable speed, of great fielding, of great hitting, young hitting. I just think they're the perfect
So I have a question for you, Avi.
mix of talent to win a championship.
I hear that there's one of the pieces of softball wisdom out there is that Steve Pollen is 55 years old or so, and he's got two issues. One, he can't pitch as well at night because he's tired, and two is that going back-to-back days, Sunday and Monday is too much for a 55-year-old shoulder and legs, for that matter. And what do you say to that?
I'll answer very simply. I tried interviewing Steve Pollen for the Holy Schnitzel Player of the Game last night, and he did an absolute terrible job. Like, Huda Koenig aced it. Steve Pollen, I asked him
I
one
never
question.
saw the Koenig interview.
It's on Instagram. You're welcome.
It's on
Huda.
Instagram?
Yeah. It's on the story. Yeah.
Which
yeah.
one? Which
Okay.
thing is you? What is it like?
Yehuda's famous now. Anyway, Steve Pollen, I asked a question to, right? And I didn't post it yet, so I'll say it. And he gives an answer. And I'm about to go for my second question. And he just walks away.
Wow.
I'm like, Steve, we're in the middle of an interview. We're still rolling live. He's like, this is the regular season, okay? Come back to me in the playoffs. Come back to me in the playoffs.
Is he getting fined by the league? Like, who
So
was that
he
player
was
that
going.
used to
He
not
was
talk
going
in the
to,
NFL?
but
Was
then
it Antonio Brown or was somebody else?
He
Who
was
was
Marshawn Lynch. He was
Marshawn
going
Lynch.
to, but then he grabs the mic out of my hand and he goes, guys, Holy Schnitzel, best out there. Gotta go to Holy Schnitzel. But to answer your question, Steve pitched an absolute gem last night. I was calling him primetime Pollen on the WhatsApp status all night last night, thanks to you, David. He's been on fire.
nickname.
It's the best I've seen him pitch. Having him be the sole pitcher on the team now for the most part, I think might even give him a little bit more of oomph now that Viggy Cuss is officially off the team and on officially with Koenig. I think it might help him. I think it might help him that he's the sole dog that everyone's riding. And I'm actually curious if he ever has to miss, who's going to pitch for that team. But I guess we'll see when that
They'll
comes.
figure it out. They got what's his name, right?
Does he ever miss? Dom DeRosa told me recently, he's like, I've owned 10,000 games with Steve Pollen. He's like, I don't think he's ever missed a game in my entire career.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes
Alrighty,
sense.
gents.
Anyways,
It's
that's
a
it.
pleasure.
I think it's great. I think it's be competitive, and we'll get into tier 2. I promise. We did not forget about you guys. You
Thursday.
guys, yeah.
See, depending how the games go the next 2 nights, although Wednesday looks like it's going to be a washout.
Well, we gave teams the option to play tonight. No one took us up on it.
It's tough. It's tough to do that last minute. Any closing thoughts, Reb Shlomo or Reb Yehuda?
I just want to thank you guys for running the league. It's really nice. I think you found a way to, even though I'm a dinosaur with the technology. I think you, with the promotions and all, it really adds a little layer of little oomph and spark to it. So I think you guys do a great job. Keep it up.
Thanks, Yehuda.
And then,
I actually have an announcement. Yeah, go ahead, Shlomo.
I was just gonna say that we may have been ranked number 5, but Steve said that we're the best. So just leave it out there.
Steve said that you're the best team in the
Holy
league.
Schnitzel's the best. Those are his words.
I actually have an announcement to make. I was going to make this on the chat, but I'm going to make it here. Anybody in the league that is willing to do the Qualified Protein Challenge, which means take a full cup of the protein powder, throw it back, and then chug water. Some people call it raw dogging. Somebody said I should stop using that term. Remains to be seen. I will ship at my own cost a bottle of the protein powder to you, but you got to make the video and post it in the players chat, and you also got to complete it. You got to complete it, but I'll ship it to you.
Is it healthy, by the way? Well, is it gonna really help clean my gut, Shlomo? I'm being serious. I need to get going on a diet. I keep on telling myself I will. I need to get my Twillory suit that my mother promised me for Hanukkah, but I never went because I told myself I'm gonna lose weight first. Is it gonna help me?
So it's not a weight loss drug. It's a supplement. So if you need more protein in your diet, which most people,
Well, when you're trying to lose weight, you're working out. When you're working out,
Well,
you need protein.
well, there's another thing also, which is that it keeps you fuller.
right? So that's part of it also. So I drink it throughout the day. I have it in my coffee. I have a protein shake in the middle of the day. And it's not just because they sponsor us. I reached out to them because I use it every day. And it's like I've tried other protein powders that were grainy and not as good. I tried Qualify, and it's been the best protein powder that ever had.
Shlomo, take your shirt off for us. Let's see what we're working with here.
I think you found out
that
last
the-
night
the-
on his
the-
last at bat.
Yeah, all right.
He's looking strong.
Before we go, guys, 2 more quick shout-outs. I want to give a shout-out to FM Home Loans, the HSL League sponsor, every one of our softball member communities. Hopefully you guys will have yours already. Dave, I don't think you got yours yet, but maybe tonight.
Maybe tonight's the night.
Gets your HSL FM Home Loans hoodie, and of course the Town Appliance, our corporate sponsor, who is the official sponsor of the HSL Night League. Shout out to you guys. We love you. We couldn't be here without you. And what a podcast, guys. Right up on an hour, Dave. Let's close
1
this out before
hour.
it's an hour
All
and a
right,
minute.
guys.
All right.